Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. It's been a hot minute since we have talked to you guys, and we've been here. I blame Caleb for all of that. That's probably his fault. Lot of stuff going on in the Noble family and in the Noble life in the last month and a half, and we hate that we've been away for so long, but we are back. Maybe we're back for good, potentially. I don't know. I am seeing through one eye right now, so we will see. We'll see what happens there with that. Caleb has
You
finally
are?
moved into a place that is not roach infested, so that's
They didn't even know
good.
about that. They
So
didn't
it
even know
does
about that.
feel like maybe things are starting to slow down for us a little bit. We do apologize. It is nice to be back. We've wanted to be back, but I'm telling you, the last month and a half has been a little bit of a roller coaster for everyone, including the Cardinals.
It's been the craziest, let's just say 2.5 months of my life.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's close. It's been like one thing happens and another thing happens and everything compounded. So yeah, I am sorry. I also like to be honest with you, the Cardinals, not was because I've been busy with stuff that impacts my future heavily, but also they haven't played the most inspiring baseball. They've been on my kind of like they're on the TV every night, but I'd be lying if I said I was getting angry every time they blew a lead or even listening to the game most nights. And that's a little bit upsetting because they are in playoff contention for sure, but it's kind of felt like they shouldn't be almost. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we had thought about kicking this off with a shout out to LSU for winning the national championship. Probably could have just done an hour on that. Or we were going to dig into the fact that the Saints start minicamp this week. So there was that, but we know how people feel about that. And the Pels draft was pretty good, although some people don't love it, but we'll see. So we were going to do all that, but we figured we just get right back into business. Where we stand right now in the All Star break, which we'll talk about here in a little bit with the All Star game and the first half. Cardinals right now at 51 and 46. I would say right where they probably should be, maybe even a little bit higher than what I thought they would be. 6.5 out of the first feels like the Central quickly slipping through their fingers, and 1.5 the wild card. And I'll say this much: that 1.5 feels like it should be 15. I don't understand how it's only 1.5.
Well, here's the thing. They're 5 games above 500. Like in most years, recently at least, I should say, at the All-Star break, you're 5 games above 500. You're probably in a wild card spot. Like we always talk about like I feel like winning like 84, 85, 86 games feels worse as a fan of the team than it does when you like look back at it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like when you're in it, it doesn't feel great because you're like, okay, we got up to 11 games above 500. I think was the Cardinals' high water mark this year, and you're like, oh, this is great. And obviously they've lost 6 games since 6 games in the standings since then. But the Arizona Diamondbacks went to the World Series in a year where I think they won like what was it, 85 games.
It was 84 or 85. Yeah, I don't remember
Like
the
the Cardinals
exact
are on
number,
pace
but it
to be
was.
8-ish games above 500.
Yeah.
That's right
Now,
around there.
if you that is the you are playing the eternal optimist, which I greatly appreciate
It's not
because we
optimist. That's where they're
are
at.
we are in right now one of the two worst days of the year, today and tomorrow. Although at least tomorrow the British Open opens, so now that it'll probably get rained out, so that'll probably happen. But potentially two of the worst days of the sports year right now are going on. So I love the eternal optimist out of you. I
He
think
was an
that I read.
optimist.
Hold on, I do think that I read that they have played the third most games of teams under 500. So the pessimist could
Is
say,
that
well, the
true?
second, I believe so. Yeah, I did not make that up. The number third, the third most could be wrong. It could have been fourth, but it was in the top five of teams that they have played under 500 in the first half. So that does tell you there is a glut of teams over 500. It tells you that that second half could get potentially harder in
Well, here's the
theory.
thing. Like you say that, and that might be true. I don't. I haven't. I mean, I'm not going to doubt you, but
Feels like
they haven't played.
you tried to
Well, they
fact
haven't
check
played
me.
Colorado at all. So that should be at least 5 wins. Like that team can barely win a baseball game. Let's just be honest about them. Um, the thing that screwed them is they've been really bad against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that just can't be the case ever. And the thing that's crazy about it is they're beating Paul Skeens most times, so it's not even him that's
Right.
doing it to them. Miami they haven't played at all, right? Or am I wrong?
I
I
don't
don't
know
think they
that
have.
answer, to be honest with
Maybe
you.
they have. I don't think they have. And if they have, they only have once. I know they haven't been to Miami. I know that's true. Um, they play Arizona coming up. That's a below 500 team. Like, I'm looking at the rest of their schedule. It's not all that difficult. Like this month they end with Arizona, Colorado, San Diego, and Miami.
Yeah.
So they haven't played Miami at all. I was right. So like they haven't played some of the worst teams in baseball that they're going to be playing. Um, the month that's going to make or break their season, obviously, as it always is August. Like they play, I'm seeing one, two, three, four, five playoff teams that month, and you're playing Cincinnati in another series, which they're not a playoff team, but they're a team that can beat you twice. Um, so yeah, it's not going to be easy,
And
but
then to be
no,
fair, Caleb, if you look at September, San Francisco, Seattle, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, San Francisco, Chicago. So I'm pretty
right.
positive that stat I saw. I mean, like I said, when I said third, I could have been wrong. It could have been fourth, but they were in the top five of teams played games under 500.
Which is a little
Teams
bit
five.
surprising because they've played 48 games, 49 games against teams above 500. Now, I wonder if that stat is teams currently above 500 or teams that were above 500 when you played them. I don't know.
See, that's a great question. In my mind, it should be that they're above 500 when you played them. So that's a very good question. Again,
Because like
that's a
they played the
stat that caught my
Twins.
mind, and I
Yeah.
I was like I zoned in on that.
Because I remember they beat the Twins. They swept the Twins obviously to open the year up, and at the time the Twins obviously were not above 500. And then they end up getting back to over 500. I think they've fallen since then. But then I don't know if that stat changes if they get above. I don't honestly don't know. It should,
Yeah, I
right?
don't.
Because if you beat the Dodgers, like say you take 3 or 4 from the Dodgers in the second series of the year, and they were 1-2 when they played you, that should count towards your above 500 record, right?
Yeah,
I would think.
yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the first half a little bit before
I
we
don't
move
know.
forward to the second half, and then take a look at the All Star game, take a look at the draft, and take a look at a few other things around the league. 5 games over 500. I think if you would have told me that right now, July 16th, that the Cardinals were 5 games over 500, I think I would be pleasantly surprised. To be very
Mhm.
fair, because I think I picked them to win 77 or 78 games, somewhere in that area. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly. I'd have to go back and look, but somewhere in that area. So they're well ahead of that. They're well ahead of
Mhm.
that right now where we stand. Um, but it does feel like there's been so many, like this seems a roller coaster, man. The peaks just are quickly met with the valleys, and that's tough
And
when
vice
you're
versa.
agreed, and that's tough when you're trying to sustain something to really make people believe, fans included, uh, that you are a playoff potential team. I think they're 14th in attendance this year. When was the last time? I mean, I can tell you the answer. You've never lived in that time period where the Cardinals were 14th in attendance at the All Star break.
Yeah, and yeah, that's crazy. And part of it's
Hmm.
deserved. And I think honestly, like they were trending up and then they fell back again and then people stopped getting interested. The thing that's so frustrating about this is the reason that their peaks are short-lived most of the time. They had a 9-game winning streak at one point, but that was so long ago. But it's because of their rotation. Like 40% of their rotation is just dead weight that's being carried for non-baseball reasons. And if you have that, then it feels like you get away with murder when you win 2 out of 5 games. Like if you win one of those 2 games out of the 5 that you're playing in that span, you can't get away with that because then
With
then it puts all the pressure in the world on Sonny and Libertor, who, by the way, Libby's had a really good year. A guy that we can hopefully he can build on this year and to next year, no matter what happens the rest of the way. But you're putting so much pressure on those two guys because if you lose the Michaelis and Fedde starts, they have to win.
Right, right. And I think the one thing I said at the beginning of the year was I was concerned, and I'm not the only one, please understand that, but was I was really greatly concerned about the rotation. And it does make you wonder, and you're way more tuned in being in St. Louis. I'm down here in the 504, but you're way more tuned in that St. Louis media and those things. Are people asking the questions of Mo essentially like, do you have your 5 best starters going? Like, are those questions being, and I'm asking this legitimately out of ignorance, but it feels
Yeah.
like that's a legit question that should be asked of him is right now, do you believe that the 5 guys in your rotation are the 5 best guys in all of the St. Louis Cardinals organization that give you the best chance every time they go out there on the bump?
Here's what I know, and I don't know if that was the exact question or anywhere around it. I do know that he had a quote that said it's a good thing Michael McGreevy is a patient guy. So that tells me the answer is he believes they don't have the best 5 in their rotation. Let's get to Fedde because we can't talk about the rotation without talking about the monstrosity that is Eric Fedde's 2025 season, the most predictable thing that's maybe ever happened in this world. Remember, I don't remember when this happened because we haven't been here for a while, but around 2 months ago, Fedde had like a 3.5 ERA, and
Yeah,
I said I think he's awful,
you did.
and
You have been on that train legitimately since the offseason.
Yeah, I think he's bad at starting. And the reason was he walks the same amount of people he strikes out in most games, or less people that he strikes out. And that's just not sustainable for any pitcher that's ever lived on this planet in any era. It does not work. It never will work. Because if you're going to, I just don't understand how you can be a pitcher. Like Adam Wainwright used to do this. When he was getting older, he didn't strike a ton of people out. But guess what he also didn't do? He didn't put people on base. Ever.
Yep.
Like it was very rare when he walked a guy. It was like he feels like he just committed one of the deadliest sins. Like he was not happy about it ever because it didn't happen often. Eric Fedde walks a guy an inning, and I don't understand how this guy is still here. Like I don't understand why there was no foresight. And I got argued with on Twitter by some of the writers in St. Louis in the offseason by saying it was stupid to keep him because the odds were he was going to regress. I didn't think it was going to be this bad, but I didn't think he was going to be what he was last year. And instead, what they did was they said, well, we need all the arms we can get. There's no way we can trade this guy and go sign someone else. That's not a thing teams do, except for all teams but us do it. And I just don't understand why they didn't cash in on a guy that everyone knew, like logically knew that he was not going to be a sub 4 ERA pitcher this year. And now he's nearing 5.
Yeah, it's very frustrating as the fan, lifelong fan of an organization and a team. And I'm sure that it's equally met with the same amount of frustration from everybody else in your age bracket on the I'm not on X anymore, but whatever. I'm sure it's met with all of that. In the fact that it does feel like once again we've talked so much about terrible roster construction with Mo over the last 8 to 10 years, right? I mean, it's just been bad since the entire Michael Wacha postseason debacle. It seems to be a story that's been on, but it's even more of a story now when it just seems to be about money only. Because like that's why I opened with that question about the reporters, because there's no way that you can tell me that these are your 5 best starting pitchers. They're just not. Like I mean, I'm not saying that you should throw Matz in there, but McGreevy should be in there.
Why
And
not
there's
though?
there's an argument for TK Roby. I would assume.
Well, he's on the
Like,
IL now, but yeah,
yeah, I get it. But I'm
because of
saying
course
there's an
he is,
argument
because he's a
that he
Cardinal
could have
pitcher
been there.
in the minors.
But like you just I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand. I'm sorry, I'm going in circles here, but I'm getting to the point that I want your answer on. How do you sell it wasn't a rebuild, it was a retool,
Reset.
a reset to your fan base. And then when you start to get good, you still see glaring weaknesses, but you don't address those weaknesses at all. And now they festered into like, I mean, they're like into blood poison at this point.
Well, you know what the most confounding part of this is? If it's a reset, you don't want expiring pitchers in your rotation anyway, because they're not resetting your organization. They're just hanging on by a thread. So
Right.
there's no reason to have them here because it's not helping you for next year. And if you're trying to win, you don't want bad pitchers in your rotation. And instead, what they have is 2 bad pitchers on expiring contracts in their rotation, and it literally serves no purpose. And the thing that they're talking about and sending smoke signals towards is keeping Fedde in the rotation through August 1st for trade purposes. I'm sorry, but how dumb, genuinely, how dumb do you have to be to think that even if Eric Fedde puts together 3 straight starts of lucking into, 2 earned runs in 5 innings, 2 earned runs in 6 innings, just because the balls that he gives hit 100 miles per hour are going at people, and every time he walks a guy, he gets lucky with a BB hit right at Mason for a double play for 3 straight starts, like he did in May. Even if that happens, what organization is dumb enough to believe in it? The answer is you. You're the only
Right.
one that would trade for that guy. So who are you going to trade them to? Yourself?
Yeah, to be fair, we liked the trade last year. To be fair, we did like the trade last year.
Okay, I was wrong. I'm not the one that's
Right,
getting
right.
paid to
Agreed.
do
I
it.
was wrong as well. But yeah, to be fair, we did like the trade, and it did make sense at the time, even though now people want to go back and revisit it. Fine, I get it. This
But
team
can I
is
make a
also
point
not a
on that?
60-win team with Tommy Edman on it. So let's
Yeah,
also look at that.
but can I make a point here? We shouldn't know more than the front office about trades. They should
We
know more
agree.
than us about trades. So just because I liked the trade at the time doesn't mean that it's okay that they didn't know what they were doing.
I refuse to talk anymore about Miles Michaelis, so I'm just going to punt that one now. I don't want to talk about him. I
I'm
just don't.
also,
I don't
but
want to see his face. I don't want to hear his mouth. I don't want to hear his name. I don't want to talk about him.
yeah, he's been bad. Okay, he
He's
has been
awful.
so much better. I don't care what his ERA says. He is so much better than Eric Fedde is at pitching.
Fine.
And
That's fine.
I'm not even kidding. I think it's not even close. Miles Michaelis
Okay, so
has good
let's
starts when I watch them. Like when I watch some of Miles Michaelis' good starts, it looks like a good start. Eric Fedde has never once in a Cardinals uniform had a start where I was like, that actually looked good. It just sometimes worked out well.
he had a no-hitter through 6 or something like that at one point, didn't he?
I'm sure he did.
He
And
did,
then he
and
got
they
pulled
took
like
him out.
75 pitches because they didn't trust him anymore.
Yeah.
That's how bad he is.
Um,
I'm
let's
sorry,
look
Eric,
at
if you're watching, but
these next two items here moving forward. Um, First off, just a statement, and second off, you can address the future of what you'd like to see them do in the second half. One, can we just not go ahead and sign or trade for a guy who was bad in the major leagues, then got okay in Japan or Korea or somewhere across the pond, and then bring him back and keep doing like? Can we just stop with those guys, please? I don't want to see any more of those in my rotation.
here's the thing that I will say about that. I don't if it works, don't assume it's going to keep working. Because
Right.
like Miles Michaelis' contract, his first one worked great. And even like I think did he signed 3 with us? I think he did, right? He signed the entry
Two.
level one, then he had an
Well, it's
extension,
two
another
3-year
extension.
extensions, so you might be right. You might be
Yeah, I
right.
think he signed 3, and the second one worked out. And then you signed a third. And it
Yeah.
was like how much like Miles Michaelis' career as a Cardinal the last 3 years have been awful. But before that, he was a 2-time All-Star in like a 5-year span. It worked out for a while. For Fedde, it you can't have two of them. I know
No.
that.
No.
Like they're
Um.
not Merrill Kelly, and Merrill Kelly's even getting beaten
Right.
around a little bit now.
I mean, yeah, their Arizona rotation wild, but we can talk about that at a later date. So knowing all of what we just talked about, mainly what you just spoke about with Fedde, and we all know the Miles Michaelis conundrum that we are in right now, and knowing that the team is 5 games above 500, like in my mind, I don't see how there's a massive run to put you in contention for the division. You might stay halfway relevant in the wild card for a little bit, but this organization's got to make a decision in the next 2.5 weeks on
Mhm.
what it is they're going to do. And in my mind, that's Ryan Helsley and Nolan Arenado. Now, I don't know the market for Nolan Arenado. I don't know that.
There's
There
not
might
one.
be zero. You might be stuck with that guy at this point. I
There's
don't
not
know.
one.
But well, there could be. We don't know if there's an injury
Who?
coming. I don't know. That's what I'm
He
saying.
want to
You
go to
never know.
Houston, Dad. Where's he gonna want to go?
That is a problem. I don't know. Like LA, do you think that's
Boston's
an
not gonna
option?
want to. Next month he's on his way back.
Yeah. So I don't
LA,
know
hold on.
the
Los Angeles is smart. So no, it's not an option.
what about the Yankees? Like that's an option. The Blue Jays, I think, are an option.
If you're the Yankees, like they're I didn't know. I don't. The Yankees. The rumors were the Yankees didn't even really have interest in the offseason.
Right.
Why? And Nolan's dealing with like 3 injuries this year already. So
Yeah,
why would they
I
want him
get it.
now?
It feels like you're stuck with him. But I mean, at this point, what would you like to see them do in the next 2.5 weeks? And we've got 2 weeks to talk about this, so that could
Mhm.
change every time we pop on here.
Right.
But right now, July 16th, All-Star break, 5 games over. And I know in your just the preface, I know in the past you have always been go for it if you have a chance to make the playoffs,
Mhm.
which I agree with. In my mind, I don't see this team with the lump sum of all of those teams in the wild card. I don't see them being one of the three. I could be proven wrong, but what would you, Caleb Noble, put the hat on like to do?
Here's the question I have for you. One, Heimblum, first thing they'll put out there, Heimblum has to be involved in every single decision made, regardless of if you're trading a low A guy or you're trading Lars Nootbaar or whoever it is that you want to go out and move, Ryan Helsley. He needs to be involved in that. Because there's a world where Heimblum says, I'd rather keep Ryan Helsley because maybe we don't like the prospects we're being offered, and I'd rather get another draft pick that my team can go and pick next year. And in which case, he should make that decision. Mo should not. So regardless of what they
We
do, Heimblum
totally
should do
agree.
whatever it is, or at least be involved. I don't want to hear Mo say, "Oh, well, he's busy with other stuff." Make a phone call. It's not hard. We all have phones. We know you do too. Um, here's what I would do. If let's say they remain within 2 games of the wild card, okay, whether that means they're in a spot or they're 2 games out, regardless, I would go find a guy that you like, that Heimblum likes for next year's rotation, that won't cost you a ton of money. I mean, a ton of prospect capital. Sandy Alcantara, if Heimblum thinks they can find something in him for where he's not bad like he's been this year, and I would trade or DFA whatever you have to do with Fedde or Michaelis, and I would bring up McGreevy, and I would see if those 5 are enough to get us in the playoffs. And that way, you have a guy you're making a move for next year's team, and you have Michael McGreevy up here where he should be. and then you have 5 guys that you aren't going to kill you every time they're
Do
out,
you,
and then you let the guys that got you in this position, the young guys, at least believe that that they're being backed and have a chance to go fight for it.
I like what you're saying there, but just to speak to the guy that you just brought up in Alcantara, don't you believe that there's probably other teams that are going to be in that same
Yeah,
market that might have more draft capital? Because I think the Cardinals are on that slippery slope right now where you can't give up too much draft capital in hope. And I mean draft
prospect
prop player,
capital.
sorry, prospect capital, because you are like you do need it. Like you do need that
Yes.
for the future. So I think you're on
Here,
that tough part. And I don't even know what the Marlins would like. I don't even know. And I know that's just one guy you picked out. I just
yeah,
don't know
but
the answer.
I'm saying this, first off, this is all only like a hypothetical in the world where Heimblum and Rob Serfolio and Dusty Blake and everyone involved believes that they know something about Alcantara that the Marlins haven't been able to figure out. Which I don't know why they would know more than the Marlins about pitching because they don't seem to. But if they think they do, then that's what I would do. Here's the thing about Sandy, and it's going to be interesting. I think he gets traded if teams want him. He has a 7.2 ERA and a 1.48 WHIP. We
Right.
were talking about how bad Fedde and Michaelis have been. They haven't been that bad. Like that's unpitchable. He's a -2 WAR almost, and has only 71 strikeouts and 91 innings pitched. Um, that's just genuinely awful. Like one of the worst pitching performances we've seen from a starter getting everyday run ever, probably to this point in the season, I would guess. Um, but like that's the type of move that I think they need to make if they believe that like what if his usage is weird on this thing and they're like, "Oh, we think we can get him his mechanics back and he'll be the guy again." Now I don't know if they believe that and they might not. He might just be toast after his injury. But I think you make a move where you're getting a guy that you really like for next year that's not Eric Fedde, preferably a guy that can strike people out. And then you bring up McGreevy. The other two need to be gone. Like there's no unless you're just punting down the season and you're trading Helsley and all those guys, then you can keep Michaelis in your rotation if you want to, just to eat innings. But I don't think you sell off completely. Do you? Like, do you sell everyone?
I don't know that. This leads to bigger questions for me. What does the future of Lars Nootbaar look like here in St. Louis? Like,
He should be traded.
okay, so we agree. I think he has been as underwhelming of a guy that everyone told me was going to be a superstar or at least a star. Let's not put super in front of it. I've never seen it. I've never ever seen it.
Dylan
So
Carlson.
I mean the list goes on. So
At least
that's
Lars Nootbaar's
question one.
playable. Dylan Carlson was
And then
not.
I just think they're not. I mean, I don't see the reason to extend Ryan Helsley. So
No.
I know that in our heart of hearts you want to go for it. But and I also this brings up the question, and I'll let you answer this here in a minute. But if you look at all the players that we've traded over the last handful of years, there aren't a lot on our current roster or knocking down the door that we've gotten back for all of those guys. So
I mean,
that's
Roby's
the
one of
other.
them. So JC's could be an everyday player at some point. Like that. Those are.
No,
I mean,
he's not.
I
I
mean, we don't
love
know yet.
Thomas
That's way too
Saggese.
early to know.
I get it, but you got JJ Weatherholt knocking down the door, bro.
Right.
Like, so
I'm
JC's
saying.
not going to be an everyday player here. I love him.
Right.
I'm a fan. I think he does a lot of great things. But outside of Roby, is there a guy that in the last 5 years the Cardinals have traded O'Neill, Carlson, Bader? I mean, fill in the blanks, right? Everybody you can fill them in. Whoever else you want to add into
I mean, they
that.
traded Bader for Montgomery.
Okay,
That was a really
okay,
good trade.
right. And then you got no. I mean, that's fine. That's a very
Get
valid
Roby
point.
back for him. So
Okay, so and then all the other guys that we have. If you look at it, it's not like they've got guys. I mean, you look at other teams.
well, it's
The Cubs got Pete Crow Armstrong for Javi Baez. That's wild. I know that's an
yeah. Javi
anomaly,
Baez was
but
like
it
an
feels like the
all-star
Cardinals
level
never get
player
one of those trades. Do you know what I mean?
because they don't trade guys that are as valuable as a guy like Javier Baez was at the time they traded him.
Which is why that's
Um,
where I lean to try to trade. And
they
I'm
still
going to
don't
use the
have
Caleb
one.
Noble GM that he taught me last year. I would lean to try to trade Lars and Helsley together to up the value of the prospect you could get back. That's what you told me last year of what you would like to see when there were trades being made. That's what I would try to do to try to get a
Yeah.
more valuable prospect than just a guy who maybe can help you in the bullpen at one point in time in his career.
Yeah, now obviously there's caveats to that. There has to be a team that wants both and a team willing to give you more for both. Because there are some
We
teams that would
understand
say,
that.
we won't just trade for two guys once. We'll just trade for a reliever here and an outfielder here and trade less. So that
Of
would have to work
course,
out. If that
in
option's on the table,
theory.
yes. Now, I like Lars Nootbaar a lot. I think he's a really fun player. When he's good, it's a lot of fun to watch. He started to get hot towards the end right before the All-Star break. I still think he's a really good player. I don't think he's a great player. Um, Here's the thing. They have to start looking at their team and seeing what can they do, like, what are they going to do? How are they going to allocate playing time? And rumors are Ivan Herrera is starting to practice in the outfield, which makes sense, kind of, but also not because, you're talking about a guy that's had two leg injuries already this year as a primary DH. I don't know how the outfield's going to help him. But even if, let's just say Herrera's locked into your DH spot, Burleson's got to get in the lineup. Um, we want Donovan in the lineup. If weather holds up, then Donovan probably has to play left field because Arenado's not going anywhere, it seems like. You need Walker in the lineup, I guess. I don't even care about him
Gorman,
anymore. Gorman, like I don't know. I've never seen a team a mediocre team, or bad even in some cases over the last couple years, that can't allocate playing times to the guys they need to allocate playing time to.
that's where I'm at right now. Okay, that's why I said like if anybody could take Arenado and you had to eat his contract, whatever you have to eat of it, like
He
you
has
do
to
it. But
accept the
that's
trade.
but so at what point? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. At what point as an organization do you have to put the organization first? Right. And you
And
just gave a
and
nice
cut
little list
Arenado.
of players who needed to play. And in my mind, the number one priority of this organization in the offseason should be finding a way for Ivan Herrera to be your full-time catcher in 2026.
They're not going to do
Because
that.
that's a problem then. Then that's a problem. That's
Well,
you
maybe he's
just
not a catcher though, Dad. Maybe he's not. Like it's for me the
how do we
conversation
know?
becomes because he can't throw the ball to second base.
No,
He can't. Like I've defended him and said he should catch. He cannot throw the ball to second base.
okay,
He
so
can't.
then there's that one. So that's one problem. Then that's a massive problem. Then that's a guy
Then he
that
needs
you've
to be a
counted
first
on.
baseman.
Okay, so that brings up, do you trade Wilson Contreras?
Yes.
Okay, will he
Okay.
accept the
This is
trade?
probably in the
See,
off
this is
season.
these.
Why would he
You don't think
not?
they do it at the trade deadline?
No, because I don't think you should be unless I know because I don't think that I don't know. I don't want to trade Wilson Contreras.
We
There's a chance
agree.
we never see him in a postseason game for the Cardinals, which is depressing. In the event that they were tearing it down, if you want to make room for Ivan Herrera and Alec Burleson, first base has to be open for one of them. Um, I
I'm going to
that
be
really
honest with you,
sucks to go down that
Caleb.
rabbit hole, but my goodness.
I know it does, but you have to ask those. That's what I'm saying. Like Heimblum has to be asking these questions because these are big fucking questions for this organization moving forward. And if I'm the Cardinals and you're not going to agree with me, and that's okay, I'm all right with that. But I'm listening to legit Newt, Helsley, Contreras, Nato, and Sonny Gray. I'm listening to
I would
whatever
listen to all
somebody's
of
going to come
those.
to me. I'm listening to all of them. And if you wanted to throw some other people in there, maybe, but probably not. But you have to find a way. JJ Weatherhold is knocking down the door. Nolan
Hmm.
Gorman has shown in June, had a great June, right? And has had an okay July. Like he's been hitting the ball well.
He's been
But he's
far more
getting regular
impressive than
playing time.
Nootbaar.
But you promised at the beginning of the year to give him at bats, and then you were sporadic with them. That's a
Hmm.
guy, he's still only 24 years old. Jordan Walker, he's got bad luck potentially on his side right now. I don't know. And if you're going to move Herrera, like you've said it yourself. You got too many guys, and Luke and Baker's just still hitting bombs at AAA. Like,
And like we're at year three of this problem,
correct.
and it doesn't feel like it's getting any better. Like here's my list of guys that have raised their stock above everybody else, to where like these guys are playing every day because they've earned it and they had the opportunity, they ran with it. I think there's three guys. It's Ivan Herrera, Alec Burleson, and Brendan Donovan.
Not win.
Outside of those three, and Mason Wynn, sorry. He
Okay,
was just
we
already in my
agree.
mind as a guy that wasn't even in
And
that
not what about
conversation.
Victor? I think Victor's your center
No,
fielder.
he hasn't. He's been
Okay.
bad, kind of.
Okay.
Like
I
he
mean,
hasn't been very good. He can't hit.
yeah.
He can't hit. When are we gonna get people that can hit the baseball?
We would love to know that. I agree. And this is something I've been yelling at for years.
Like I love Victor, and I think eventually he can be a league average hitter. But if I'm telling you that my hope for him is to eventually be league average, and I get with his defense that'd be very valuable. But that's also me hoping because he has an 81 OPS plus right now. on the year and 67 in his career. We know he was awful last year. Um, like, why is he earning priority anything?
I don't think you have another guy who can play center field, Caleb.
Find one.
Okay, is that Chase Davis?
No, he's been worse than Victor Scott at Double A.
So this is so now we're back to drafting. Like this, these are the myriad of questions, and I know that everyone leads you to all these other questions, which I think is fair for us to ask. But I don't know. That's why I said I'm everyone. I'm listening to everyone.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying that Victor Scott wouldn't be my center fielder. He would be, but he would not be a guy where I'm like we have to pencil him in for 3 years. He
Remember
just
when we
isn't
had
yet.
so many outfielders that we didn't know what to do, and now we're turning other players into outfielders to
Well, we still have too many that we don't know what to do with. It's just like we don't. The problem isn't like it was back in what was that 2019, right? Where it was, oh, we have Bader, Carlson, O'Neill, Rosarena, Adolis Garcia. Like this is a great problem to have. Let's trade some of them and figure it out. And then Adolis Garcia tripped rounding third base, and then they said get out of here. And then Randy Rosarena videotaped Mike Schultz saying one curse word, and that made him angry, so he had to go. And then we took the three that were worse than the other two.
I mean,
That's where the problem all started,
that's
to be
exactly
honest.
where we are. Thank you, Mike Schill.
And honestly, not fair. I don't want to love Harrison Bader in with that because Bader is still a really good outfielder, having a great year, by the way.
Playing left
And O'Neill
field
has
for
some had
Minnesota.
some great stretches, but his were injury related. And the choices they made at the time were valid. And Liberatore's working out, so maybe in 3 years the Rosarena trade looks like a good trade for the Cardinals. I don't know
He was just
if
in the All
Liberatore
Star game,
becomes.
bro.
Yeah, but would
For
you
what,
rather
the third
have? But
time? Like, is
in the
Matthew
event that
Liberatore going to be a
Liberatore,
3-time All Star?
no, but I know, and he's only been in it twice.
So no, the
But
trade's not going to work out. He's going to be
no,
a
I'm saying
back
if
end of the.
Matthew Liberatore becomes a number three in your rotation, he's shown flashes of that this year. Don't act like he
Okay,
hasn't.
that's
He had a good
fine.
year.
I'm not saying he can't be a number 3. I'm saying even then, the trade did not work out because Randy
Well, then you're just
Rosarena's.
talking about value. What's more valuable, borderline all star outfielder at some
I
seasons
don't.
not, or a number three starting a rotation?
He has a really. He's a what 840, 850 OPS this year.
He's having a really good year this year. He was bad last year.
His
He's not
career,
consistently this
Caleb,
good.
you can't boil it down to like making him a borderline all-star. His career has been greatly more significant than Matthew Liberatore's.
To
And
this
if Matthew
point, yes,
Liberatore
but when
becomes a number 3 on an average baseball team, his career at the end of the trade, when they're both said and done, will still have been dramatically more significant in the
if
big
okay,
leagues.
if you're an all star twice in 6 full seasons, is that not a borderline all star?
No,
He's not a
no.
guaranteed all star. Far from it. Most times he's not
Okay,
one.
okay. I didn't call him a superstar. There's those guys who
He's
are all
not. And
stars every year. You put a guy in the All Star game. I mean, to me, Brennan Donovan is not a borderline All Star. He's an All Star now.
okay, I guess. So what's a borderline all star? What I mean?
Someone who was close to making it but didn't. That's it. That's the line with an
Okay,
All Star.
fair enough.
And obviously, there are people who get in the All Star game because they had a great first half. We understand all of that. I get it. That's not Randy. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think you can make that argument
Randy's
for
okay, fine. I'm not
Matthew
saying Randy's
Liberatore
not a
trade right
good
now.
player. I don't think he's like this transcendent being that people act like he is
I
sometimes.
think this offense would be dramatically better if Randy Rosarena was still a Cardinal, and
I
would have
think
been for the
he.
last 6 years.
Well, can I make a counter argument? I think
Sure.
Randy Rosarena would be dramatically worse if he was still a Cardinal.
I mean, okay, maybe.
You
I
want me
don't
to
know.
give you
He's in Seattle,
examples?
bro. Like, I mean, you don't think like him hitting with Goldschmidt and Arenado and Pujols and Yachty
Who has that
and
helped? Who has it
I'm just
helped?
saying. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, I
It
think he
hasn't
would have.
helped anyone
Okay,
but
we've gotten off
Donovan.
the path here.
Well,
We've
my
gotten off
point
the
is, I
path.
don't know if the problem necessarily is talent evaluation as much as it is development.
We agree. We
So I
totally
think
agree with that.
so. I have no reason to believe Randy Rosarena would be Randy Rosarena if he was still a Cardinal. I don't know if he'd had the opportunity to be himself. I don't think he would.
So you don't think if he was put? Oh, okay, that's a valid point. I don't agree with it, but it's a valid
He
point.
wouldn't have played.
That's the problem. Then that's not talent evaluation, and that's not development.
That
That's
is
terrible
evaluation.
decision making.
That's evaluation. You're evaluating
That's
the wrong
not
people.
okay. You said
In
I said
2021,
development. I
let's
said
say 20.
development.
Okay, this is a weird rabbit hole to go down, but just to wrap this up, in 2020 to 2021, would Rosarena have played over O'Neill, Bader, or Carlson in any of those seasons?
The argument is he should have played over all of them, and how you
That's
missed
not my
it.
question. I'm asking, would he have? in those 2
Okay,
seasons.
so that goes back to again a failure in the organization of not knowing
I
who's good
agree.
and who's not.
We agree. I'm saying if Randy Rosarena was here, I don't think he's Randy Rosarena. I think he's probably in AAA or something.
Oh, then that's a night. Then that statement right there sort it encapsulates everyone's frustration. Then with John
Okay.
Mozeliak, Ali Marmol is one of those. Mike Schilt, fill in the blanks, all of them. In the fact that then what's the future look like then? How do we
Okay,
get
let's get to
excited about
that
anybody?
because we're being really pessimistic. This is a lot to get off our chest over after being gone for 2 months.
We got a
Um,
lot to say.
because they are 5 games over 500 and close to a
Okay,
playoff spot.
that's
So
a valid answer.
it's not as bad as we went to see. And also, Ollie, by the way, has done a great job managing this year.
We agree. We
Anyone
agree with
anyone
that.
who is still hating Ollie and thinks he's the problem, I just genuinely don't think you watch the games or you have
There,
ulterior motives.
there's so many
Um,
out that bingo. Now, here's my question. Two
but what I was gonna
questions.
say
Oh,
is,
sure.
if we want to be excited about the future, we can look at what happened on Sunday and Monday, and that's the fact that they completely changed the way they draft and not
Yes.
change. And Kyle said some things about how it's like same people, so they're drafting like similar-ish. Like you can kind of predict what they're gonna do, but instead of drafting guys that are, let's say, sinker ballers that that you think have like a high floor, like Michael McGreevy, where everyone's like he's going to get to the major leagues. We know that, but what's he gonna be? Probably not much. You draft a Liam Doyle, who we don't know. Maybe he doesn't get to the major leagues as a starter. I hope he does. I think there's a good chance he does. But if he does, he could be Spencer Strider.
And you got Franklin. Like, as someone who watches a ton of college baseball, especially the SEC, the two dudes they got off of Tennessee bring it every weekend night. I
Mhm.
mean, bring it. And I'm not a Tennessee fan, but I was pumped to see those two guys end up as the St. Louis Cardinal. If you have the opportunity, and if we do, I'd like to have Kyle or Kareem on soon because I don't know enough about a lot of these guys. Like I know the names, watched them maybe play a game or two in college
Like
baseball, but
Ryan Mitchell.
I'd like to get that so we could do a little bit more draft
Yeah.
analysis on that because I agree with you. I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah, and so the pessimism here, a lot of it's because all we know, and we know for sure, is what Mosaic's done, and that's what we've known because we don't know what Heimblum's going to do. Also, like Heimblum, we speak all these high things about him. He is really good at drafting. We know that. Look at all the guys that are making an impact in Boston right now. Most of those were him. We know that he did a great job in Tampa Bay of getting the most out of everyone. It came at cost for some guys, like Tyler Glasnow, who had multiple injuries. Like those are all concerns. Those are the things he's good at. But what he hasn't been good at is signing free agents. What he hasn't been good at is making trades. He hasn't done much of that. So there's still concerns with him, but I think the draft at least can give you a positive view of where this could go. Like, I don't think the Cardinals, because of the way they draft, have ever given themselves an actual chance to find a starting pitcher that becomes a diamond in the rough that's in the top of your rotation, at least in the last 10 years.
Right.
Because they just draft guys that don't have that potential. Now, they draft guys in the fifth and sixth round that might end up being in your rotation for a little bit because they're at least good enough to do that. But what they did was they drafted guys now that maybe you never hear anything about Tanner Franklin. That's his name, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe, yeah, I think so. Maybe
Yeah.
he's never in your rotation. Maybe he never makes it to the big leagues because that's a potential outcome with him. But if he does, he could be, I don't know, a top of the rotation arm. Like he has
Right.
that potential in him. We don't. They didn't give themselves those chances, and I would much rather see this team that's drastic, that's looking for any star anywhere, and whether it's in the rotation or in the lineup, they need both. To be honest with you, take chances on that instead of saying let's just continue to build guys that are going to help our team win 82 baseball games.
Right. We totally agree with that. Um,
Let's talk
the
about Liam
lack
Doyle
of
for a second.
the lack of power does concern me. Do what?
Lack of power is a concern for sure. Liam Doyle's. We need to spend some time on him because I think this is the most exciting draft pick since JJ Weatherholt, but the most
When when
exciting in terms of personality that the Cardinals have drafted maybe in my lifetime,
yeah.
because it's just the guy's a freak of nature. He's gonna cause multiple benches clearing brawls probably
Yes.
while he's a Cardinal, which I kind of love honestly. He's going to hit people on purpose, which I don't love always, but if it's for my team, it's fun at least. Um, and he's going to strike out a lot of people, like a lot of people. He led the nation in K per nine in college baseball this year. I don't remember the last time they took a swing this big, because there is risk there. Like I've heard people say the risk of him being a reliever is very overstated, so maybe that's not as much of a risk, but it is something that's probably a possibility if he doesn't develop the way you want. Um, but man, you're taking a chance on a guy that could be the next. I don't want to put pressure on him, but what if he becomes, Tarek Skubal light? Like not him, but maybe he becomes a guy that's in the top 10 in Cy Young every year. Not maybe winning it
Yep.
every year, but in that conversation because he's striking out 11, 12 guys per nine and throwing 100 past everybody. Like they don't draft guys like that. They draft Michael McGreevy and Dakota Hudson and Jake Woodford and Zach Thompson and every single go down the list.
And we just watched Paul Skeens come out and throw 12 fastballs last night, strike out 2 guys, and walk off the field with a 1-2-3 inning. He just said literally, "I'm throwing 1 pitch tonight. If you can hit it, awesome." But they couldn't.
You
And
think he said that, or you think the Pirates said you're throwing one pitch tonight?
I think that was all Paul Skeens. I don't think Paul Skeens is gonna. That might have been Livy Dunn. I don't know. It could have been who was catching last night.
Oh gosh, who was it?
One Hunter Goodman.
No, it definitely was not Hunter Goodman.
Will
Oh
Smith.
god.
It could have been Will Smith.
Yeah.
Like who knows? I don't know, but I think that was all Paul Skeens.
Future teammate,
And I
probably
think
Paul
Paul Skeens
Skeens.
came out and just said, "We're gonna go." By the way, poor Paul Skeens. Not only can he not get a win in Pittsburgh, but he was up 6-0 with a dub, an all-star dub in his name, and they couldn't get it for him.
You don't have. There's no minimum then in All Star games
No,
for a
one
win.
all-star games throw 1 inning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I mean, I don't think he cares at all. Genuinely, I don't
Doesn't.
even think he
He
cares that he
doesn't.
doesn't win in the
He doesn't.
Pittsburgh.
But I agree with
Um,
you on Liam Doyle. I agree with you on Franklin. I do like the big first baseman out of California. Like that kid can drop bombs. He might become Lucan Baker. I don't know, but he also gives you a guy that actually hits the ball out of the ballpark. Now it does feel like the Cardinals are adverse to those guys as they don't like them on their roster. So I don't know what to make about that either. This team, you've got to find a way to get power in the lineup. You're not going to win hoping you can string 7 hits in a row together on a nightly basis in a league where everyone throws over 97 miles per hour.
yeah, and it's a lot of fun when they do that, right? It is fun to watch first to third in an inning and see, Ivan Herrera go the other way and have a good approach, and Mason Wynn do the same thing. That is good baseball, and it's not something I don't enjoy watching.
No,
However, it's not something you can do for 162 games. This is why it frustrates me so much when people talk about Whitey ball. I'm sorry, but the people in 1982 and 1985 and all those years that Whitey Herzog had success, they weren't facing 98-mile-per-hour fastballs every single inning.
ever.
Well, some people say that Nolan Ryan threw 107, which
Well, he was in the American League. You didn't face him. Now, maybe you did face the nasty boys at one point with Cincinnati, but
right,
we
Rob
agree.
Dibble and stuff. Yes,
Yeah,
but it was
no,
very
and
rare.
that's the thing.
There's a
I
reason
got
that those
into a
guys were
discussion
so
with a guy
good.
today about trying to build how building speed, building your roster around speed wins championships. It does not. Filling in speed, and it's good to be able to go the other way and go first to third. That's what winning teams do. But you know what else they do? They hit the ball out of the ballpark. That's what they do, and
You
that's
know
what
what
you
winning
have to
teams
figure
do?
out a way to do.
They have guys that do both.
That's my point.
Who was the
Yes,
leadoff hitter for the Dodgers last year?
Shohei Ohtani.
He has 50 stolen bases and 50
Right.
home runs.
And that's what I was trying to say. Like, yeah,
Like we're not gonna get
nobody
Ohtani, but
builds
you
a
get my point.
roster around fast guys, and that's not how rosters are built
No,
today. You fill in
no.
with that, or you want guys who do both. Kyle Tucker, Ohtani, Acuna,
Mhm.
fill in the blank, right? Tatis,
And,
whatever.
and you and you like, yeah, Tatis, right? He hasn't won a championship, but still, he's a guy that no one would be shocked if he was the best player on a championship-winning team at some point.
Correct.
Um, and like these people, some people are like, well, I just hate Nolan Gorman because he strikes out and hits home runs, and then they watch the Dodgers. Like, I'm jealous of the Dodgers. What's Max Muncy to you?
Right.
Like, you have
Kyle
to have a guy
Schwarber.
like that.
Now, Kyle
Oh, that's
Schwarber's
what okay, I
OBP
was gonna
is
ask
very
you.
high. He does
And
have
Kyle
a
Schwarber,
big OPS.
yes. And so did Max Muncy's OBP has historically been
Right.
very high. That's why Nolan Gorman continuing to draw more walks has been a really good sign because I don't
Yes.
care if he can punch a single the other way. I want him to get on base via
Yes.
walk and I want him to hit home runs. And I don't want him to start trying to hit the ball the other way. Please stop doing that to me.
Right. We
Um,
agree.
but do you think the Cardinals should, let's say that they go this route that you're talking about, where let's say they have a really bad next 2 weeks, worst case scenario, and Mo has no choice but to sell off Ryan Helsley and all these other people. Do you think that next year needs to be another year where they're not going to spend any money on people? Or do you think they say, we still like Mason Wynn, we like Ivan Herrera, and maybe if we go add two bats or add one bat, and JJ Weatherholt comes up, maybe he's good, and then maybe we add a starter, we can be really good. Do you think they should go that route? And if they should, how much money should they give Kyle Schwarber?
He's not coming to St. Louis, bro. Although he is a
Well, he
Midwest
wanted
guy. He's
to.
from Indiana.
He wanted him and Wayno wanted him to come to St. Louis. He
I
was open
know.
the idea, and we didn't even offer him a contract.
Well, the same thing happened to Bryce Harper, so don't even get me going on that.
And then Schwarber proceeded to hit 40 home runs every year he's been in
And I
Philadelphia.
think we have a feeling. I have a feeling that Kyle Tucker is going to be a Cub for the foreseeable future. I don't think he's leaving Chicago. So I know that's your dream.
An outsider perspective. I don't think that any Cubs fan feels confident in that happening.
I'm not arguing that's going to happen, but I think that he's going to. He just seems to be in love with that city. So I could be wrong.
I mean, I'm sure he is, but you know what he probably is in love with as well? New York and Los Angeles when they throw him way more money.
I don't know. I don't know that answer. I don't know that answer.
I just don't think it depends. I think he's a Boris guy. So is he going for money? Because if he's going for money, he's not going to the Cubs. Because
back to answering your question, I think you have the nucleus, but you have to fill in the gaps with not just like supporting cast. You have to fill them in with guys who are going to hit in the middle of your lineup. One. And then you have to fill them in with guys who are going to be at the top of the rotation, too. If you're not willing to do that, then that goes back to my thing at the All-Star or at the trade deadline. Then in the offseason, you need to trade everyone that has any money on the books and then go from there. It's one of the two.
And earlier when I said they need to trade Wilson Contreras, that's in this hypothetical where they're selling people off and they're trying to find space for all these young guys. I wouldn't be opposed to them keeping Wilson and trading someone else, like not Ivan Herrera, not Burleson.
I understand that because we love him, but it doesn't make sense. Like you're blocking a spot.
If you're trying to win next year, is what I'm saying. If you're trying to win next year, then I think having him on the roster helps you win.
Okay, I was going under the assumption that if you're trying to win, he's on the roster. If you're not, he needs to be traded. That's my point.
Like I don't want him traded at all. It kind of makes me want to puke just thinking about it because
I agree.
I enjoy watching him more than most Cardinals I've ever seen in my life, to be honest with you. He's also, if we're being fair, he's been incredibly disappointing this year, in my opinion.
Yes.
But I don't know where you go because they're in this middle ground again. It's crazy to me, and you just hope Chaim Bloom has an answer for it. And he says, and maybe he comes in, he's like, you know what, Nootbaar, maybe it's Jordan Walker that he's like, I don't like any of the way that he's trended. I get that he had the prospect pedigree, but I don't see it. Like, he's going to come in with fresh eyes and not be in love with these people. Like, I get how Mozeliak falls in love with Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman and Lars Nootbaar. Because I, as a fan, did the same thing. I get it. But you're bringing in a guy now that he didn't draft those guys. He didn't promise them playing time. He has no ties to them at all. Like, if Craig Breslow can come in and trade Rafael Devers, Chaim Bloom can come in and trade Jordan Walker if he'd like.
And he's already traded Mookie Betts. Now, we also know he did trade for...
That's a bad example.
I'm just saying, though, he has done it. Yeah, but what he did, though, was...
He had to do that. But yes.
Right. There was nothing he could do about it. Like, that was... I don't even know if that was his call.
It's one of the worst trades in baseball history, but yes, he did do that.
But he did also make one of the best trades, you could argue, in history at the time, when you got Glasnow and Shane Baz, and who was the other guy, Baz, and who was the other guy from Pittsburgh for literally...
Chris Archer.
Yeah, Chris Archer.
It was Austin Meadows.
So there was that. So, but yeah, I think it's got to be one of two things. I don't know the answer. In my mind, I think you have to get as much money off these books. So then you've got to find a way to entice players to want to come back to St. Louis. And I don't know the answer on how to do that. And that's usually money. That's usually money. Right.
It's all it is. It's money, dude.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like Jason Hayward didn't want to stay here because he got... that was a different reason, but still, it's money. David Price went to the Red Sox because they overpaid him. He was going to be a Cardinal until he wasn't. You said earlier you think they have the nucleus, which I don't know if I agree with that because I don't think they have a star.
I was going to ask you, the wrong way to say it.
If you're moving forward, let's just go with young guys. Let's leave Wilson, Arenado, and Sonny out of it for now because they're up in the air. Maybe Chaim Bloom doesn't want any of the contracts he didn't give out on the books next year, and he tries to get rid of all of them, which honestly would be kind of valid if he does try to do that.
Yes.
Let's leave those guys out of it. Who is your core of young guys right now that you're like, let's keep these guys? I want these guys to remain Cardinals for the next 2 years at least. Who are they?
So first of all, let me clarify. You are correct. Nucleus was the wrong word. I should have said supporting cast. That's really what I meant. That's why I added bring in two legit middle of the order bats. So that's what I should have said. I think it's Mason Wynn. I mean, I think you've already laid them out. It's Wynn, it's Herrera, it's Brendan Donovan. I'm still not giving up on Nolan Gorman. I'm just not going to do it. I think
He's a
JJ
question mark,
Weatherholt,
though.
that he is a question mark. So I mean, and so is Jordan Walker's a question mark. So it's those three
I'm not.
guys.
I'm out on Jordan Walker.
I get it, but to me, it's those three guys. Like, to be honest with you,
Burleson.
okay, fine. I mean,
Can I read? Okay, can I read you Burleson's stats right now
yeah,
so
I'm
we
a
can just
Burley
be fair to
fan.
him?
I get it, but are
No, he
you
does.
wanting
No,
to?
he deserves more credit than you're giving him. I'm going to read his stats because
But
he's
you
been
have done.
great.
Hold on, you have done this exact same song and dance. No offense, I didn't mean that negatively, but with Lars Nootbaar to me for 3 years
Yeah,
when I've
he did
questioned
deserve it.
him, and it's been the same Lars Nootbaar output every year, essentially. That's all I'm saying. I don't
Okay,
think you
but
can
my
fall in
argument
love with
here.
Alec Burleson. I like
Hold
him.
on. I think what I was saying at the time with Lars Nootbaar was fair, and he was a guy that you'd want to keep around. It's not my fault he hasn't gotten better. Here's the thing with Burrow. He doesn't need to get better. Look at what he's doing so far this year. He's batting 293 for all you batting average lovers. He's a 340 OBP for all you on base percentage lovers. He's slugging 466 for you slugging lovers. For an 805 OPS, 24% above league average, and he has 11 homers, which kind of slowed. That's because he didn't homer much to start the year. He's been on a homer pace lately, and he's on pace to have like 80-ish RBIs. Like there's really nothing he's done that you can't love.
That's fair.
He's only
That's
struck out
very valid.
42 times. Like he is a middle of the he's a middle of the order bat. He's a 5-6 hitter on a team that can win a World Series. He can be that.
If if you want to throw him in there, I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with if you want to throw Victor Scott in there, only because I don't know who else plays center field for this organization, and I don't know who
Yeah.
you can go out to get in the offseason that is going to be a top to middle of the order bat that can play center field like Victor Scott can. So I'm okay
Yeah.
with that. But
But he
you
has to be
also
better
have to
than he's
realize
been.
we haven't gotten to this, and I'd love to talk about with Kareem and Kyle. You got Bernal knocking down the door. You've got Jimmy Crooks knocking down the door. You got JJ Weatherholt knocking down the door. There's decisions that are going to need to be made for those guys as well. Now, could they all come up and suck? Absolutely. I hope they don't. JJ Weatherholt, everyone seems to love him, but everyone seemed to love Jordan Walker. So I don't know
Yeah.
that answer there. I'm simply saying those are all also questions that if you are going to move, which could have something to do with why maybe they're moving Herrera to the outfield.
Which just don't do that.
I don't know the
Why
answer,
would you
Caleb.
do that?
Yeah,
Put him at
he'd be
first
my
base.
DH.
Put him at first base if you want flexibility to the DH spot and have Burley DH or play the outfield. I don't care. I genuinely don't care if Alec Burleson costs me 1 run a week. I
Right.
don't. Because he's going to provide me 5.
Right. I get it. But I also don't know that now we're up to that's like 6 guys that are on this team right now, and I don't know that know that answer.
Can we when do you say that Jordan Walker doesn't deserve to be given playing time?
He's 23. I don't
care what age he is.
I get it. I get that you're angry with him. I get that everyone's angry with him.
I'm not angry with him. He's not good.
I think that is a problem. I think
he's bad. He's bad. Like why we keep doing this? He's bad. He's not good. Maybe he will be good, but right now he's bad.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any value for Jordan Walker.
Then don't play him. If no one wants to trade for him, that's a
agree.
sign that you probably shouldn't be playing him.
Where did this hype come from?
Jordan Walker?
Yeah.
He was incredible in the minor leagues.
Okay.
I mean, he was legitimate, and he was like 19.
I get it.
He was awesome.
I get it.
But like, guess what his OPS plus is this year? For a bat first outfielder, by the way.
74.
59.
Okay, yeah, that's bad.
I mean, he has a 267 on base percentage and a 295 slugging percentage.
So for future, we got to get out of here in a little bit. But for future reference, at some point we need to discuss what happens on the bus or the plane between Memphis and St. Louis, and how you are so good and so primed at the minor league level that when you get here, you suck. I have an
answer.
Okay.
I have an answer.
All right.
Jordan Walker never took a bus from Memphis to St. Louis. He went straight from Springfield to here.
Okay. I'm talking about all of them, Caleb.
No, I'm saying they rushed him. They rushed him.
That everyone that comes up sucks when they're here. Everyone.
Not everyone. Brendan Donovan and Lars Nootbaar have been good. Well, no, Lars Nootbaar was good at one point.
And Mason Wynn that's fine. There's 3.
But for Jordan Walker, like, it's not hard to point to why he struggled. Like, you made him come up to the big leagues early because he had 1 home run off of Johnny Cueto and spring training that excited people. And then 48-year-old Johnny Cueto, by the way. And then when he came up, you said, "Oh, by the way, you're going to learn a new position. And because you're not playing well at that position, we're going to stop playing you while you are hitting well. And then we're going to give you all these things you need to change about your swing, but you're not changing them fast enough. So now we're sending you down." And then you came back up and you were really good for the end of the year, but the next year you struggled for 3 weeks. So we're going to send you back down and say, "Hey, you didn't do everything we wanted you to do." And then you're just going to keep doing that over and over again.
So my question to that is that all Mo, and is that all people who are still going to be on staff in 2026 moving forward? Because if so,
I
then none
can't
of this is
tell.
going to matter.
At the end of the day, John Mozeliak's responsible for all those decisions. So I don't
Okay.
care who else gave him input. It's him.
Okay. All right. All right. Just a few things
But for
before we get
Jordan,
out of
like
here.
before we move on for a second, I'm sorry. I don't am I being too harsh on him? Like I it sucks, but like
Potentially.
watching him, I've watched a lot of people play good baseball for the Cardinals. I've watched a lot of good players, and I've watched a lot of bad players. I've never seen a good player look like this for this long.
I agree. I agree.
And it sucks. I want him to be really good. I have nothing against him. He seems like a nice guy. He seems like he wants to be really good. But at some point, he has to actually be good.
Yeah, we agree.
And I hate being like this because I thought he was going to be really great. But he's not only not been great, he's not even been average.
Outside of Matt Carpenter, in the last 24 years, can you name me one Cardinal prospect that has been developed, not even drafted, just developed, let's say, right? And then it's become a perennial middle of the order bat that you can rely on for more than a year, more than 3 years. Let's say more than 3 years.
Well, that's hard because I mean, the answer is no, probably not.
Is Brendan
Um,
Donovan potentially going to be on that list?
he's right there. I think you could
Okay.
say he's a top of the order bat, not middle of the order bat.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
then
I'm okay with
and
that
then
too.
I think the guy that you were just saying that you weren't sure you'd really like want him to be here, and like he's one of the guys in the core. Alec Burleson is most definitely on that track right now of being a middle of the order bat for 3 years.
Yeah, it's been 2 years, so let's wait on that. But I
Right, he's
agree.
got one more to
Yeah, I
do.
agree. I agree. But other than that, I mean, that's an organizational nightmare. Like, can you think of another organization like that?
Rockies.
No.
Since Trevor Story, no one.
Okay, but I went back to 2001, bro. We're talking Matt Holliday, Trevor
You said
Story,
Carpenter.
Tulowitzki. I said 24 years.
You said
I
Matt
said
Carpenter, which was like
I said
2013.
outside of Carpenter and then going back, I was saying Matt
Oh,
Pools for the last
okay. Well,
24 years.
Yachty.
Fargo, like that's four guys right there
Yachty
that I
was
just named.
a legit number 5 hitter for like
Charlie
6 years.
Blackman, there's another one.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I didn't know you went back that far, but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I
your
mean,
answers would be
there aren't any.
yeah. I mean, if you go back, really, if you go back and look at the
Zero.
amount of stars just in general, the Cardinals have drafted in their history, it's not all that many.
If we go back to 2000, like I mean, maybe the Mariners, like, but Ichiro, obviously, you didn't
Julio,
draft and develop. You signed him from Japan, right? I mean,
right? I
Cal
mean, yeah,
Raleigh
but
now is on that trajectory, but he didn't have a good first 3 years. J
I
Rod
mean,
has had
he
the
was
hype,
good. He wasn't this good.
right? So I don't think there's anybody, dude. I don't think there's a team.
Kyle Seager too for the Mariners.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is kind of confounding for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the second
All
time
right,
I've
just a
used that
couple
word.
other things, and then we can get out of here. Shout out to Donnie. We really did. We didn't really get into that, but 2 hits last night in the All-Star game. Had a terrible bounce there at the end. That just could not believe that
So
ball stayed
stupid.
in. That was. I mean, there's nothing. You saw Dave Roberts laughing. That's all you can do. Like, there's nothing he can do. But that was awesome to see him. It's sad that there's only one Cardinal in the All-Star game, but hey, hallelujah, they're wearing their jerseys again.
Yes, I've always loved that, and I'm glad they're back to it. Phil Maton should have also been an all-star, in my opinion. So they should
Okay.
have had more than one. I think Sonny Gray had an argument, but had a couple of rough starts right before the break. For Donovan, only player on either team to have more than one hit in the game,
Yeah. Yep.
which is really cool. And like
Okay.
also, it almost made me kind of like emotional. I don't know what it is. I have a really strong emotional tie to Brendan Donovan. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I just do. I think it's just the way he plays. Everybody loves him. But it was really, really cool to see him finally get his appreciation. Like he's deserved that
We agree.
for 4 years, and he finally got it, and I'm really happy for him
After he missed a flight to the All-Star game too.
because of that stupid game, which they won, by the way. So they have. We're talking this negatively. They did win the last baseball game they played.
Yeah, they did. They did. How did you like the ending? I thought it was absolutely awesome, and I want Major League Baseball to adopt it at some point.
So, okay, if they do that, one, I loved it. It was awesome. That should be. I honestly would rather see an All Star game where all 9 innings were three batters doing that, and you just counted whatever one wins
Before
is
you
most
answer,
fun.
did Kyle? I didn't stay up after it. I stayed till the end, but I didn't watch the award. Did Schwarber win the MVP for hitting the three
Hmm.
home runs?
Yeah, he did.
Love that. That's what should have happened.
He
Love
should. He
that.
hit 3 home runs in the game.
Yes.
Here, I honestly, when you text me and said they should replace the extra innings with that, and I was originally I was like, that's stupid, and I
You
still
gave me
kind
an
of think it is
LOL.
stupid. But the reason that they should is the hockey, because it basically is what hockey does. But the only way you could do that is if you go to a 3 point system like hockey does, where it's
Here's
like
what I
one
would
point
do.
for
Can
an
I
extra
tell you
innings
what I
allowed.
would do? I don't think you have to do that at all. Here's what I
Yeah,
would
you do.
do.
You can't have a win decided by whether or not you have. How much would Kyle Schwarber get paid if that was the rule? He could win you 5 games in a year just by doing that.
Yes. 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 Here's what I would do. I would go, I would have a 10th and an 11th inning that you play straight up. No runner on second base. You play straight. And if you
Okay.
want to do a 10th inning, fine. But then after that, I would also only do 2 rounds. I wouldn't do three. I would do 2 rounds. I think that levels the playing field
And it has to
for
be your
every
nine
team.
hitter.
No, no. Now, do you know this? I had somebody ask me today about Judge not being one of the ones, and my answer was, well, if I'm Booney, I'm not telling that guy to
He
get
wasn't
warm
there.
after he's been sitting out for 6 innings. But two,
He,
do you know, was there a rule in place for the All Star game that said it had to be three guys who were in the current lineup? Because they were, both sides. So I didn't know
yeah,
if that was an
no.
actual rule because it was going to be Suarez, and after he got plunked in the
Hmm.
finger, they went to Stowers, who did hit a bomb,
Who
by the
homered,
way.
which was really cool. That was
The
really cool.
Aranda suggestion was weird, but I also think I also wonder though, as a manager, there might be guys in there who don't want to do that. Like to be
I have
fair.
an answer if you want to hear it.
Okay, yes, thank you. I just need to get
Those
all my
guys were
thoughts out.
not. They were not at the stadium anymore.
They'd already left.
Which, by the way, yes,
I don't
allegedly
love that.
Shohei Ohtani was not there. Aaron Judge was not there.
Scuba
Which
was. He was in a nice button up though.
I know, which I love that. I love that guy
Same,
just in general. He's awesome.
same.
But I I hate it that they did that. I think it is absolutely insane to act like you are bigger than you deserve to be there to all 9 innings. I think it's crazy that imagine being like, okay, Jacob Wilson started the All-Star game, right? So, but imagine if he was a reserve, a guy who's a rookie who like 3 years ago was in high school watching
Right,
Otani and Judge and all
right.
these guys. Imagine being like, I cannot wait to maybe score a run and go in and give a high five to Aaron Judge after like that would be his moment. And you decided that you were too good to stay
How is
at the
that
game.
allowed? Like, I hate that, dude. I'll be honest. I didn't know that. I hate that.
I genuinely like, and I'm not like angry at Aaron Judge. I'm angry at Shohei Ohtani because I imagine it's a precedent that's been set by former stars. I would imagine. Like I don't know if Derek Jeter did that and A Rod did that
Okay. I
probably, but in
I
general,
never
like
thought about it and never knew that.
I just think it's absolutely crazy to me to do that to someone. Like why?
Yeah.
Imagine Brendan Donovan getting 2 hits, looking in the dugout and not seeing Shohei Ohtani like
Right.
reacting. Like that's
I don't
just to me
like
is
it.
just that's lame. I hate that.
So anyway, I'd like to see them implemented. That's all I'm going to say. It won't happen because they're not going to go to a point system on wins. They're not going to do that. I do think right now it's got momentum. People are like, that was really fun. That was awesome. I'm still on board with it because I'd much rather see that than a guy start on second base.
But
But it's
I
not going to
genuinely
happen.
like it's never going to happen, but I want an alternate reality where it does because I want to know how much more valuable that makes a guy like not Aaron Judge because he's already insane, but like Giancarlo Stanton or Kyle Schwarber or Yoenis Cespedes when he was winning the home run derby every year. Like imagine how much more you would be willing to pay those guys, knowing that they're probably going to single-handedly win you like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, I agree. I also think if you want to bring excitement and youth into the game, like that was exciting. That was exciting.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm okay with it just being in the All Star game though.
How awesome was it to watch Cal Raleigh win the home run derby with his dad pitching and his 15-year-old brother catching, and then his 15-year-old brother kind of becoming the belle of the ball of the All-Star game, carrying around the belt. Like I loved every single minute of it.
He also his Cal Raleigh's brother also said 15-year-old, so
I thought I said
said that
15.
I know, I'm just saying for what you're
Okay.
about to say, he's not a creepy old man. He's 15. Said that his favorite moment of that day was meeting Livy Dunn, which is hilarious. Um, but it was awesome. Like I'm really happy for Cal. He's just been probably my favorite story of baseball this year. Like he's on pace to break the fake record that Aaron Judge broke.
And
With
everyone along with
50 plus
side,
home
the
runs.
catcher record, the fake Aaron Judge record, the switch hitter Mickey Mantle record. Like he's on pace to break
Yeah,
all of them in
yeah.
Seattle.
The one thing I hate about it is that MLB made such a poor decision that it kind of casts a shadow over it by letting Kyle Raleigh advance for hitting a ball 8.08
I
feet farther than Brent Rooker.
just do a
Like,
swing off.
I mean, there are we've been on here a long time and I have to study, but it is absolutely insane because everyone wanted to swing off anyway. No one wanted
Yep.
that to end. Brent Rooker didn't deserve that. I think
No.
they make money now, and also Kyle
Yep.
Raleigh probably didn't want to win the home run derby and have people say, "Well, you shouldn't have even advanced."
Yep. And I thought it used to be if there was a tie, it was based off who had the most home runs. Like, you know what I mean? In Major League Baseball. I thought that was between the
No,
two.
the rules should just be it shouldn't even be feet because I don't care if you hit the ball
No.
471 feet or 468. It should just be if you're tied, you go to a swing off.
Yes, we agree. I
We
agree.
get more home run
Also,
derbies.
final
Why?
thing I'll
Who
say
doesn't
about
want
the
that?
All-Star game, get it the F off of ESPN. It's
The All
terrible.
Star game was on
It's
Fox.
I mean the home run derby, sorry. It's awful. They don't want anything to do with baseball. Get them off of there. The coverage was terrible. Half the time they're talking and you can't see where the ball is landing. The calls are atrocious, like absolutely awful. There's no more Chris Berman, like no more of that at all. And three, there's interviews going on the field with the guy who just came off, and they're talking over it, or they're going to a commercial.
Why? Yeah, Ryan. I didn't hear Ryan Howard. I kept seeing him, but I didn't hear him
It's
say a word.
brutal. ESPN is a
And
joke. Get baseball away
okay,
from them.
well, no, I'm not going into journalism anymore, so I can't be mad at
Right.
you saying things like
I'm
that
not
anymore.
wrong. They don't,
Um,
dude, they don't
here's what
talk
I will
about
say.
baseball at
The
all.
the one thing I will say, and why I don't want to kill them completely, is because I think Jeff Passan did a really good job, as he always does. And I think having a guy like Pat McAfee, who doesn't know anything about baseball, but having him there is good for the game because it will bring more people in to watch it than would have before. So those two
Okay.
things are valid, but I don't even think it was the commentators that were bad. Like they weren't great. Like I'm not gonna
They're
shit on Todd
bad,
Frazier
Caleb.
and those guys, but I think that the camera angles were so bad that they didn't know what to call.
Yeah, it was a terribly
Like there were
covered
some
home run derby.
there were some balls that they were like this one has a chance and it would land like maybe 250 feet away from home plate.
Or there's ones that they thought weren't going to go out and they were going 480 feet.
I can't tell you how many times the home run counter was at 16. 5 pitches later, he hits one home run and then it
Yeah.
goes up like two. And I'm like,
Yeah,
what
it's
happened?
it's
What a
bad.
mess.
ESPN, let's either get to MLB Network or Fox. Fox is the way to go. Get it on Fox. You want more viewers? Put it on Fox where it's free TV. With
Yeah.
everybody
Also,
streaming
Junior
these days and
Caminero.
cutting back on cable, put it on Fox.
Yeah, all right. We gotta get out of here, but I want to say one shout out to Junior Caminero. Dude put on a freaking show. He was awesome.
Yes. As did O'Neal Cruz. I will say this, that watching the Dominican players, like it was like Team
I think that was
Dominican.
cool too. I think
That
that was
was
cool too.
super awesome. Big fan of
And then
that.
you have
Big
Manny,
fan of that.
Manny over there, the older Puerto Rican that's just like, I want to join in. Why not? I want to have fun.
Yep.
Wait, no, Manny is from the DR. I was wrong. I just remember
Correct.
that now that I said
Yeah,
that
it
out loud.
was. I loved it. I loved it. I loved the
I also
mic'd
loved
up
it.
also. I will say that. For the
Yes.
game, love them. Always loved more. Let's get more mic'd up moments from the games. I've been saying that for years. That's how you start to market these players.
Yeah.
I mean, they're willing to do it. Mic them up for the games. It would be awesome.
All right, last thing, and then we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta
How
go.
much did you hate how likable Pete Crow Armstrong was? Because I hated it.
So I almost texted you. I almost texted you that like if I were a non-biased St. Louisian, whatever, like Cardinal diehard, I'd be a Cubs fan. Like that team has a lot of great personalities from the baseball field. They really do. And Pete Crow Armstrong is one of them. And he made me a fan last night. And I hated it. I'm
The
with you.
Yeah, because the way he plays is like so cocky and like this guy's probably
Uh-huh.
like an asshole. And he seemed like the nicest, most down to earth guy. Also, he also made a comment when he was on the red carpet where he was like, my first All-Star game. I'm glad I have a beautiful woman standing beside me and he has this really attractive girlfriend. I'm like, okay, he's just winning at everything. Good for you, Pete.
The best
Like,
answer, and then we'll go. But the best answer was when they asked him, "What do you say to younger players like who are watching this and want to be in your shoes in 5 or 8 years, whatever?" And instead of the typical, "Oh, just keep working hard," if you're good, they'll find you. Was no, don't be Pete Armstrong, be yourself. And I was like, okay, that's not a 23 or 22-year-old answer. Like, that's a guy who's been in the league 15 years, who's been like, that was a great answer on the fly in the middle of an all-star game. Like, I loved it. I'm with you. I became a fan last night, and I hated
I didn't
myself
say that.
for it.
I didn't
I
say that.
did.
He's also putting up maybe one of the greatest center field seasons we've ever seen currently. So that's great.
I did. All right. Well, let's get out of here. We got a lot to talk about when we come back. We have a series coming up this weekend with the Diamondbacks. Am I correct on that?
Yep.
Anything you want to say there before we get out of here?
It's in Arizona, so just get weird and hit a lot of home runs. That's what you
Yeah,
have to do
that's
to
what
win
you
there.
got to do, but I don't trust that this team will do it. But I do like that. Now, the Arizona pitching staff, not very good. So we agree.
We'll see if that changes. It probably will.
Yep. Well, it's great to be back. Thank you guys for joining. We will be back on a good rotation now that Caleb is not living with the Roaches. Now that I am settled in here and we got everything kind of going on, we have stories for later. We will tell those at one point in time, but I'm not sure Caleb's ready to talk about it yet. So have it tomorrow. If you're doing nothing, watch the British Open. It's the only sporting event on, I think. Otherwise, we will see you next on Sunday, probably. So we'll talk to you soon. Go Cards.